Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to today's April 4th edition of the Impact Wrestling Press Pass podcast. This is Ross Coleman, and first let's bring in Josh Matthews. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm busy as usual, Ross, but I'm excited for tonight as we get ready for United We Stand live on Fight TV from Rahway, New Jersey. I'm here. I'm at the building. Well, I was at the building. I went to get some lunch. Looking good. We've got a limited number of tickets left, so if you're on the fence about purchasing a ticket for United We Stand, I suggest you get it now. Go to ImpactWrestling.com for more details, and then if you can't be with us tonight, then you need to watch United We Stand live on Fight TV. I was at the Fight TV studio earlier today and ran down the card with Matt Stryker and SoCal Val, and we're just very excited for everything that's going to happen tonight at 11 p.m.
Josh, what match are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, I'm looking forward to every match. I mean, when we looked at this card and tried to put the order together and figure it out, it was interesting, to say the least, because every match is a main event-worthy match. I think Tessa versus Joey is very interesting. I think that Ultimate X is going to be dope. I think that LAX versus Loki and Ricky Martinez is going to be amazing. And just top to bottom, I think the show is going to be very, very good. And then, of course, the main event, the World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, against Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Sporting News broke the news that RVD is back, not just for tonight, but he's back starting April 29th in Toronto. We're going to see him in Philly on May 3rd and 4th, and everywhere that Impact's going to be for Impact TV, we're going to get to see Mr. Monday Night back, which is super cool, I think, for every wrestling fan out there.
Super cool that Mr. Monday Night comes back on Monday night, April 29th, as you mentioned. And I think with that, the perfect segue, we will bring in Rob Van Dam. RVD, how are you doing today?
Doing great, dude. Josh, you sound like so excited. I'm very excited.
It's been a long week, Rob. I'm trying to keep it all in before tonight. I've never started a show at 11 o'clock.
I can barely hold myself together. It's all good, dude. I'm looking forward to it. Lots of excitement coming into this. You know, I'm getting a lot of feedback online and in person. People are excited. An interview yesterday on Taz's sports show, and a line that he said stuck in my mind. I'll probably tweet it to him later, or post, or I'll probably text it to him later, just because I keep laughing thinking about it. But I was on the radio talking about how I get love everywhere I go, and you know, in my movie, I really wanted to show that how excited people are to see me everywhere and the reception I get. And Taz said, yeah, everybody loves RVD. It's his gimmick. All good, dude. Looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the love. So, yeah, I'm ready. I love New York City. That's where I'm at right now. Take a little drive down to New Jersey a little bit later and go to work. Okay, now you say something.
Sorry, I was waiting for Ross, Rob. I don't know what Ross is doing, and
I was waiting for
Josh.
Okay.
Sorry.
Before. No worries.
Yeah, this is our first time, so we're new at this whole broadcasting thing.
Okay, cool, man. We'll get through it together.
I really appreciate that. So you were on Taz's show yesterday, and Headstrong obviously is your movie, your documentary. Where can we get Headstrong? I know that they played it on Fight TV. Is it still there, or is it on iTunes? Where can we watch it?
It is all the above. It's available on iTunes, Fight TV, as well as Google Play, Vudu, and Amazon. So it's been getting incredible reception. You know, I really hoped that people would enjoy the movie, and I worked really, really hard on it to get it right where I wanted it. But the feedback has just been unbelievably great. You know, like people really, really like the movie. Some people are saying it's important to them, but mostly everybody says they get inspired by the movie. Wow, there's so much noise going on there, just in case you don't know.
Thanks, Rob. Again, Headstrong, you heard where you can watch and stream and check out Rob's movie, and we'll be talking about Headstrong tonight at United We Stand. We'll be talking about it on Impact. We played the trailer a couple of weeks ago, so we're really excited about that. We're really excited to have Rob back in general. Rob,
yeah,
what was it? I know that.
Sorry, I just wanted to say thank you for going. I just wanted to say thank you for showing the trailer. That looked awesome. I appreciate you helping me get the word out on Headstrong.
Yes, sir. You got it. Our pleasure for sure to play that a couple of weeks ago on Impact. So you told the Sporting News that it was kind of like a timing issue for you to come back. What else is it about Impact, do you think, that made you want to come back now, and then to not even have your first match back and then just say, yeah, I'll stay longer and I'll compete at different shows?
Yeah, well, I've said, like, in every interview, I think, that I've done over the last couple of years at least, and I think I'm pretty consistent because I just tell the truth all the time, so that way I don't ever have to worry about covering up a story but perspectives does change. It has to as we move through time. Perspective has to change because you're looking at life from a different place, and that's just a fact. However, I'm still, just like always, interested in good business, interested in opportunities, and I follow my spirit, and it's right now everything is lined up in this fashion, so it's a good deal. I had after I talked to Scott Demore, we talked about the business, and then I understood Impact's schedule and was able to compare that with all the other schedules I've had over the last 30 years. Everything is very favorable, and hopefully it's a win-win for everybody.
Awesome. I have more questions, but I think that we should let the members of the media get to their questions. Ross, why don't we open up their lines and get these questions now, and then we'll wrap up with Rob in a little while.
Cool. All righty, media. Media, if you have questions, *6 to get in queue. Please identify yourself and your media outlet.
Q&A session has started. To ask your question, please press *6. Like to ask a question, your request has been received. You may now ask your question.
Dramatic pause.
Hey, Rob, it's James Walsh from the Wrestling Epicenter. How you doing today?
Awesome, James. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to have you back in Impact Wrestling. I guess the obvious question that all of us have on the top of our mind, and I'll be the first to get to ask it, is other than tonight's match at United We Stand, who are you looking forward to getting in the ring with at Impact Wrestling on the current roster?
Yeah, Mark Carano's not in Impact Wrestling, right?
Not that I know.
Okay, then I'll skip him. What I've found, James, is that tuning in to the product and preparing myself for tonight, I see that a lot of the wrestlers are doing RVD moves, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's what always happens when someone's gone off of the TV for a minute. Everybody else ends up, usually taking their moves. But with me, I'm amazed that it's taken so long for people to even do my moves. Like, I've thought through my whole career, that why is it that everyone steals everyone's moves, but my moves are very seldomly emulated? And the answer, is that, well, nobody can do your moves. That was always, probably not true. I mean, come on, people. Maybe I haven't seen too many people do like the 360 leg drop off the apron to the guardrail. And there's certain moves that I think would break most wrestlers' bodies apart that I do. But of course, when it comes to the frog splash, the rolling thunder, seeing some of these guys do it and doing more and more of my moves, and that's cool. I don't have a problem with it. But now that I'm back, I think I got to set everybody straight and let everybody know the difference and why when RVD does a 5-star frog splash, the world pops because the legend is doing his thing, and nobody gets higher than RVD. So everyone else, trying to bite off of my gimmick, so to speak, I think maybe I'll start off by leveling some of those guys out and letting them know that they got another several years before they need to start comparing themselves to RVD. I've been doing this for like 30 years, and it feels like, just because of the reception I get everywhere I go, it feels like I've been walking the planet for like hundreds of years because I'm so OG. And I know everybody here grew up watching me wrestle, and I know that because I've been doing it so long. But at the same time, without somebody telling me that, I don't even realize that I'm so many years older than some of the other wrestlers. Like, I don't even realize it, because when you're RVD, you're just like a spirit, and I can still do everything that I've ever been able to do because I still keep up my stretching and working out and everything. I still keep up with being me. So basically, I don't think I think of the competition for me so much as think about how they have to measure up to me.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Welcome back. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, James.
Well, Rob, as we touch on your career and your few years, we'll just say few years, 21 years ago, I'm sure you remember what happened 21 years ago today.
Well, let me see. Let's do the math. We're in 2019. 21 years ago would have been, 80? Well, 21 years ago would have been 90. Why don't you just tell me what happened? We're talking 90.
That would have been 98.
1998. You tell me. Or not April 1st.
That would have been when you started your long run with one TV title 21 years ago today.
Did you really think that I was going to know that?
Well, I mean, I kind of thought you might have.
Okay. Well, that definitely was a standout time in my career. I enjoyed the almost 2-year run with the television championship, and at the time I was setting new standards, and we were bringing opponents in from different parts of the world, different companies to face me, and that was where I really learned, to try to be consistently great, regardless. So if I'm in the ring with Bam Bam Bigelow or One Man Gang, or if I'm in the ring with Spike Dudley or Little Guido, obviously there's a huge difference in what the opponents are bringing to the table. But as long as RVD's got what RVD brings to the table, then which I do, then that's where I really learned to try to be consistent and have the best match, regardless of who I was with, and as an artist. And, as my career and everything, that was outstanding. And obviously it helped turn a lot of fans' eyes towards me, and I've been able to keep all those fans for all this time, and I'm looking forward to getting that energy tonight from them.
All righty.
Muted.
Positive energy, love, and excitement. That's all RVD gets everywhere he goes.
Hey, Rob, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com here. You mentioned that you spoke to Scott D'Amore about coming in. What all went into your decision to come back? I know you've been kind of selective with the dates and stuff that you work. What type of schedule are you looking to maintain through the end of the year, and what ultimately drew you to Impact?
Well, when I was speaking with Scott, at first it was just about tonight. At first we were just talking about doing this match, which, I over the last 3 years, I've had about 10 to 12 matches a year. And I really haven't been looking to do more, but good business is good business. And so that's, I'm always interested in considering business when it's good. And so, this was a one-off. I'm definitely looking forward to tag teaming with Sabu. Looking forward to the match with the Lucha Brothers. Good feelings going in towards this match. And then Scott said he wanted to run by some future dates with me. And as you can imagine, the biggest factors were on the business end. I mean, that's what most of us look for when it comes to working is compensation, the amount of work, schedule. So, I mean, all these factors were included, and it looks like a schedule that's not too heavy. Probably not going to change a whole lot about my life. It'll be stepping it up a little bit, wrestling more, which is good because it just means that I got to stay ready more. Before, if I had a couple of months off, I could go into, like, say, off-season mode where I'm still working out, still training, but then I, really crank up the intensity several weeks before a show because my matches were that spread out. Now it looks like, at least monthly, once in a while, a couple of times a month, we'll go and do these tapings, and so it just means I got to stay at my best, which it's good. It's good to have a reason to stay at my best, but I like to say, hey, I'm there because I really, really missed wrestling, and because I see these guys like Willie Mack, and I really think we could have a good match. But to be honest, dude, I'm there for the business. I'm there because of the deal that I have is a good deal, and so that's what motivates me to go to work. And when I'm at my work, I'm all professional. That's why you don't see an unmotivated RVD, because I only do it when it's worth it, and when it's worth it, then I like to deliver. So that's why I'm always ready when it comes time to the match. Now I'll be ready to go. Now I'll be ready to go all the time, which basically I am anyway. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And now, say my matches increase from 10 to 12 matches a year to 20 matches a year or something. Not that big of a deal spread out over a year. You know what I mean? As far as the change in my schedule, it's not like I'm going back out to live out on the road full time, and my interests aren't really there, which is another reason why Impact works out great for me.
Thanks, Rob.
Right on. Thank you.
Hi, Rob. This is Ian Carey from SE Scoops, and it was announced that you'll be coming to Toronto later this month for a set of TV tapings. And cannabis is now freely legal here. The first recreational store opened up just a few days ago. I'm wondering if you feel the attitudes towards cannabis have changed within the pro wrestling industry in recent years?
I think that's a reflection. I think that's a reflection of the attitude towards cannabis changing all across the world. I don't put as much energy into advocating for legalizing cannabis as much as I used to, because way back, when I first did the High Times magazine interview, which was I think 97, it might have been 98. I really felt like people need to know. They were taught at school lies about marijuana. They tell you it's the same thing as acid and heroin. And I just felt like I really, people need to know. I need to educate people because people can really benefit from it. All the medicines they can make and all the different symptoms that it can help with. And so I really felt, I don't know if it was a responsibility. I guess it was, but it was important to me. So I would spend a lot of time, as everybody knows, trying to tell people about it. Now I feel like it's a downhill fight. Back in the day, people used to ask me, do you really think marijuana will be legal someday? I said, I have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt, and it's going to happen, in the next few years. And I would tell them the facts about how I was taught at school cannabis is a Schedule I controlled substance, meaning the most dangerous drug with no medicinal value, along with heroin and acid. Schedule II, meaning safer for you and more medicinal value, is where you find cocaine and meth. Now, this is what they taught me when I was in school way back in the 80s, but they still haven't changed their guidelines. And I think everybody knows more than the government now. People know that marijuana isn't going to make you violent and make you want to beat your parents with a frying pan and, kill people. But that is what they used to teach us. And now all the states have come together to change their laws, and we get 2 or 3 more states to flip a medical marijuana program, and the federal government has a mandate to change their stance. And one way or another, they're going to do that. And I just feel like right now most people know, and it's a lot more relaxed. There's a lot of in Las Vegas, where I live, they're the loudest and proudest. Like they have billboards everywhere. They have huge marijuana dispensaries that look like almost like theme parks, like a Walmart. There's one called Planet 13. There's another one. They're ridiculously big, and so that's way different. You know, in LA, even though LA was way ahead of everybody in that field, in LA you have blacked out windows. You might see like a green cross. Otherwise, you usually have no idea what's going on in these businesses. So seeing it change from that in the direction that it's going, I'm glad, and I do take some of the credit for helping that momentum. So there's no question about it that in the entire world, everyone is looking at it different. So of course, the wrestling business is going to as well. I don't know yet. As far as like their policies and specifics, as far as changes there, I don't know, but it's all coming either way. Like it's a way less serious crime, and I hate to say like the fight is over because I know there's people still getting thrown in jail for it and stuff, and so it's not over, but we're almost there. And for sure, the views have changed. To what degree in the wrestling business, I'm not really sure, but I guess I'll be finding out. But it just, you know, over the last several years, I find that there's a lot more wrestlers and athletes in general that, you know, whether they have a vape pen or whether they're using the cannabis, you know, to calm their anxieties, or a lot of people wait till after the matches, whatever it is. It's not so standout and one of a kind-ish to be pulled towards that direction right now. So I've always said it's a safer alternative than pills and alcohol and all that. And now that now that it's a lot more accessible, you know, I think that people's health are going to benefit from it, wrestlers and everybody. I know so.
All right, we'll move along to our next caller here.
Hi, Rob. Donna Corby from the Irish Daily Mirror. I'm just calling because you spoke a few weeks ago about one of our own, Becky Lynch, who, of course, it's been announced in another company is going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Can you tell me what your thoughts are on her involvement in such a historic moment, really, in pro wrestling history?
Well, you know, I mean, it's very awesome that the women are in the position that they're in right now. I think that Becky Lynch is a great representative of what a female wrestler can be because, you know, everything about her, I think, is great. You know, she looks great. She talks great. Her moves are great. Her execution and everything. So, and it's not just her. I mean, the women in general have really stepped up. Like, when I was in WWE back in, say, 2001, 2002, you can't even compare the style of the women's matches back then with what they're doing right now. And that, you know, back in the day, I mean, the girls were pretty, but I know that a lot of fans would go and take their bathroom breaks or whatever during the women's matches because for some of them it was hard to watch them. But now these girls are fighters. Their body movements, everything they do is so natural, like only men seem to be able to do before back in the day. So it's come a long way, and outside of the business as well. You know, women are. It's a movement for the women's rights and powers to come up. You know, with all the Me Too movement and all that, it's happening in the world right now. The female gender is stepping up, so to speak, after being like held down. Can you believe women couldn't even vote? Like, you know, just a few decades ago, it was the world's always changing, and while we're watching it change. Hey, I love women. I think it's a great thing, and I think that this is a true test. Having a women's main event for WrestleMania, I mean, that's really putting it out there and saying, you know, let's see how this goes. You know, they could get a lot of blame if anything goes wrong. The naysayers will say, "See, that's because that's what you did. You shouldn't have put them on there." But I don't think anything is going to go wrong. I mean, people love wrestling. It's probably already sold out, right? And it's not like it's not like WrestleMania is ever less than a huge success. So, congrats to the women and Becky.
All right, well, we'll move along here. We have a room.
congrats to the man and the woman, because she's the man.
We do have a room full of callers here waiting to get in, so please, if we could focus on RVD's return to Impact Wrestling, that would be great.
Hi, this is Bill Pritchard. How are you? From WrestleZone. How are you, Rob?
Super, dude.
So I know when you were doing media rounds for your documentary, you said you considered yourself semi-retired. Can you kind of talk about any other major factors besides the business side that came into making your decision to sign with Impact?
Any other factors? As long as you don't try and push that aside, because that really is what it's about. It's about business for me. As I mentioned, semi-retirement for me meant that I wasn't wrestling nearly as much, and I've always, over the last, at least 10 years or so, I've always been geared towards working less and making it mean more. And after being in the monotonous schedule that I was with the WWE, I got totally burnt out, and I've never shaken that off. Most of my peers and people that I know hate to be at home. They can't stand being on the couch. They got to find something to do. They go nuts. They retire and then go get another job. I'm the opposite. I love being home, and every time I leave, it really has to be worth it. So on the business end of Impact Wrestling, that alone was worth it, and the schedule isn't that much more than I was doing, even if I just do Impact and don't do some of the other shows, because I won't be able to. My schedule might be filled up as far as how much I want to work with Impact. Over the last several years, I've been wrestling and mostly overseas, Australia, Italy, Scotland, all over the UK, England, and usually that's where you could find me for the last 2 or 3 years. And now with Impact, I'm going to be just as busy, a little busier than I have been. Most of it's going to be domestic. It's great that it's going to be on TV and that fans are going to be able to see me again. And, there's really not a reason not to do it. A lot of fans really want to believe in their hearts that I'm holding off and that I really want to go to one of the other companies or something, but I don't. I don't have the same values that the fans have. I'm not as excited as they are about the other things that are going on in wrestling. So right now it's great. It's great that Impact is bringing me in, making big news when everybody else is trying to make news. The wrestling business right now, it's good. All the other groups outside of the monopoly have all come up, and like wrestlers have places they can go all over and work, and all the different organizations have a great support team from the fans that want to see their group succeed. So it's the business is hot right now, and it's time to bring RVD in.
Hi, Rob. This is Joel Torres from Contralona.com. As you said before, the pro wrestling business is constantly changing, but do you think it has changed for the best compared to how it was when you started back in the 90s, including the performers that we see in the present on Impact? Or do you think is there something missing from the past that we still need nowadays?
I would say both. It's a good thing. At the same time, because I'm so old school, I can watch what the guys are doing now, and I can see the things that are doing now that wouldn't have been acceptable back in the day, and I see that. And as an old school mentality, I can fight it. But at the same time, it is what it is. Everything has to evolve. When I was a kid, I was, popping a wheelie on my bicycle was a really big move, and now look at what they're doing with BMX. They're doing things that weren't even imagined back in the day. People on motorcycles doing the backflips and handstands and all that. That was never done when I was a kid. That was done in comic books. Everything has to evolve. And so I don't know where wrestling is going to evolve into. I know it's a big difference what it's evolved into now compared to back in the day. There's pros and cons, I think, for different reasons too. It depends on what standards you use it on. But the fans are as excited as ever. They're buying more tickets than they ever have before, and it seems like from that perspective, you got to say it must be a good thing.
Hello, this is Carlos from Indie Pro Wrestling. Welcome back to Impact Wrestling, Rob Van Dam.
Thanks, Carlos.
And thank you. And my question to you is, what would you say is the biggest key to your longevity in your career? And what kind of advice would you give to the Impact stars so they can make sure that they can keep doing this as long as you have?
I missed that first part. You said what was the first part of that question?
Yeah, so what's the biggest reason to the longevity you've had in your career, and what kind of advice would you give to the Impact stars so they can have a long career like you?
Two things. One, stretching. I have found throughout my entire career that the other wrestlers don't stretch, and they've always looked at me doing my stretch routine, and everybody always says, "Oh, Rob, I need to start stretching with you." My stretch isn't a warm-up. It's its own workout, and I feel that because I've stretched and maintained the physical health that I was able to through that, I feel like for sure that has lengthened my career and given me longevity because I definitely have beaten my body up a lot, but I'm still able to move well because I stretch and because I keep at my best. The other thing I would say is to sleep. I'm a great sleeper, and I have no doubt that has also helped add longevity to my career and to my life. Anytime that I'm like missing sleep and I'm really tired and I notice I haven't gotten enough sleep for a few days, that's when my body is breaking down. That's when everything hurts. We grow and we heal while we're sleeping. And if I was one of the wrestlers that could never sleep on a flight, I really think that I would be in worse condition because I sleep every flight. And when you're on the road traveling like we do, sometimes you got to get it when you can. You might only be in a hotel room for 4 hours. But for me, sleep has always been super important, whereas other wrestlers say, well, screw it, might as well just stay up and drink till the bars close because we got to catch a flight, 2 hours later. Sometimes you can do that, but if you're looking for longevity, I recommend sleeping and stretching.
Hi, Rob. It's Rory from Team Venom Media over in the UK. I've been a huge fan of yours since the 90s, and it's awesome seeing you come back to Impact. One of the things that I watched a few years ago was you taking on current Impact champion Johnny Impact over in the UK at Liverpool. And brilliant match. There's some fantastic chemistry between the two of you. Is that something that you're looking to revisit with this tenure in Impact?
Yes, I am. He's definitely one of the top guys there that I'm looking at, most likely seeing across the ring from me. And I do like our chemistry. I've wrestled him a few times, and so I definitely do look forward to those matches. Weren't expecting a short answer from me, were you? Got to keep it mix it up.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yes.
Whoops, I'm sorry. I just cut you off there. I didn't think you would have chimed in with your question, so get back in queue. I'm sorry about that. Stephanie, you're up.
Hi, Rob. It's Stephanie from Steel Chair Magazine in UK, but calling you from France. How are you?
Excellent. Hope you are too.
Oh, I'm fine. You've always been one of the most innovative and interesting wrestler in this business, and you still are. Do you think I would say like 30 years ago you were aware of the fact that these moves would become a kind of standard in the business, and at the same time, in the current Impact roster, who do you consider as innovative people in the ring. And I, of course, think about the guys you will face tonight, Penta and Phoenix. Thank you.
Yes. So I think that I always knew that my moves were standout moves because of the feedback that I would get. And when I visualize moves that I haven't seen anybody else do before, then, of course, I'm aware that what I'm trying, is going to be something people haven't seen if I haven't seen anyone else do it before. So that's just always been what I enjoyed about wrestling. Like before I even had my first match, I was already trying to think of new moves. I was already doing the split-legged moonsault, and being creative about it is what I enjoyed. And maybe I didn't know how popular that would get and how other wrestlers would be inspired by that. And I probably couldn't have known that someday there'd be so many wrestlers doing original moves. I mean, I couldn't have foreseen that because everybody back in the day was doing like the same boring moves to me. Now, partly because of being inspired by me, I'm sure that's something that's very entertaining in wrestling, is watching wrestlers and then seeing a move every once in a while that you haven't seen. Like there's only 4 sides to the ring, 3 ropes, and it's amazing that still, after we've been watching wrestling for years and years and years, or our whole lives, or however long you've been watching it, it's amazing to me that once in a while we can still see something that we've never seen before. And sometimes it's, could be something really cool. It could be something really devastating in the ring. It could just be as simple as I saw a girl climbing up the corner post like a monkey, from the outside, and I was like, that's just amazing that it's the first time that I've seen that after being around wrestling for so long. So there's still room for there because we all have our own perspective, our own values, our own thoughts. So as we all, as individuals, approach something, we're all going to have a different way of seeing it. So that's awesome. And Impact Wrestling has a lot of wrestlers that are like-minded in that way. Willie Mack, I see his moves, and I think the same thing about Johnny Impact. I think the same thing about the Lucha Brothers. I see some moves, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I would have thought of that one. And that's when I really like it, when I see somebody do a move, and I'm like, man, I should have been the first one to do that. I like that move. So that's inspiring as well, and I appreciate the mindset of the athletes wanting to go in there and own moves, like make moves their own, that'll be synonymous and fans will know them by these original moves. I think that's great, and it's been kind of missing for a long time. People used to just have like one move that was their finishing move that made them special, and as soon as they're not in the company, somebody else would do their move. Can't really approach these athletic original moves in the same manner because not everybody can do them.
Hi, Rob. This is David Dunn with the New Zealand Pro Wrestling Informer. It's your return to Impact Wrestling tonight, but also the return of Sabu. And you've mentioned on the call you're back because it's good business. But what does it mean to return with Sabu on your side, in your corner as your tag team partner?
Well, it means a lot. There's nobody else in the business that really is a brother like Sabu. And when I say that, I think of all the years that we've had each other's backs inside the ring, outside of the ring, all over the world, in Europe and Mexico, and all the adventures that we've been through. That's hard to replace that experience, with just chemistry. You throw 2 guys together, they've been tagging a little while, and I feel like we got an advantage over a situation like this because we've been together so long. In fact, as most people know, Sabu helped train me with his uncle, the original Sheik, so he will always be the guy that I've known the longest in the business, and he also is the person that I am closest with, and there's nobody that I'd rather have as my partner, so I'm very excited about that. It's been a long time since we've tagged, and so just like the fans, I'm excited for this tag match. love to team with Sabu more in the future.
Yes, this is Wayne Benitez, Wrestling X Factor Radio.
Okay,
I'm doing good. Yes, I just want to ask questions between what's the difference of your TNA run Impact of 2019 compared to run with Impact Wrestling?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. I think you're saying what's the difference between my last Impact run and this one?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of difference. I mean, let's look at it like from this perspective. When I joined back in 2010, the whole company was in a different position. They were trying to go live on Monday nights up against the WWE, which of course was getting the ratings, and they had hired some former WWE wrestlers, Val Venus. I can't remember who all was there, but then they changed gears right away, and I started doing not live but pre-taping, and I started, and the schedule was pretty. It was like every 2 weeks there'd be a trip to Orlando, and we'd be filming for 2 days, and then for me at the time that was the best schedule I'd had, especially coming off of the monotonous, almost 300-day run that I was doing. So leaving and doing a direct flight every 2 weeks, and then knocking out a couple of weeks worth of tapings, that was awesome for me. And you look at who was there at the time, what the company was doing. They were trying to find itself. They started doing some house shows and traveling on the road sometime afterwards. So the company itself was going through a big change and trying to find different avenues of growth. And so that all affected us and our schedules and everything, personally. So it was what it was. And now, not to mention that was 2010. So this is like 9 years later. And so the company and RVD have both had a lot of growth. Impact has established itself way beyond doubt. I mean, back in the day, like there was every other week there was rumors. Everybody was saying, "Oh, they're not going to stick around." Look, they've proven themselves for this long that they're here to stay, and they're proving it by doing things like bringing in the whole effing show. I'm not that easy to snag, you know what I mean? So I'm excited, and I'm motivated by my position in the company, which I have yet to establish. It won't take but a couple of times pointing my thumbs at myself and kicking a few guys in the mouth before I have my position established and well known. And I'm sure a lot of the other wrestlers, are looking forward to getting their chances to wrestle with a legend like RVD and, step right up and take a kick. See how you like it then.
Hey, Rob. This is Riju from Sportskida in India. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Very good.
Awesome. My question is there anyone from the current roster who could have maybe fit in the original ECW locker room? Maybe Sami Callihan or someone?
I'm sorry. Are you asking anyone?
From the Impact roster who could have fit in the original ECW locker room?
Are you asking if there's someone in the locker room now that could have been in ECW locker room?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have yet to. I'm sure I know a lot of, if not most of, the guys that are, in the locker room right now, but I haven't been in there yet. You got to understand, I haven't until tonight. I haven't been in the Impact dressing room. My return is tonight, so I have a lot of people to still meet. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's several wrestlers that would have done very well in ECW, and that's a testament to how ECW has impacted the entire business. Overall, all pro wrestling is a lot more like ECW than it used to be. ECW used to be the only group was hardcore, that was going through tables and having these, everything, the fatal four-way matches, triple threat, everything. That was ECW, and everyone used to think that was barbaric. But now all the groups are like part extreme, all of them are. They are. It's just that's how times have changed and how ECW has affected the whole standard. So back in the day, not too many of the other wrestlers probably would have been comfortable in ECW because it was so different. But right now, the product that come from years later, the people that watched ECW growing up that are not pro wrestlers themselves, yeah, it definitely could have fit a lot more people, because a lot of the wrestlers today were inspired by ECW, and they really enjoy and preferred that kind of style. They find it more entertaining for the crowd, but also for themselves. So, proud to say, just like myself, that ECW has changed everything.
Hi, Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com. We talked about how your moves inspired the generation that followed you, and a lot of that is reflected over the past 17 years with Impact's X Division. Now that you're back with the company, do you have any desire to mix it up in an Ultimate X match like the one taking place at United We Stand?
Well, that's a good thought. I really haven't thought about it that much yet. And I guess I would like to get inside the dressing room and get a feel for everything first. Myself being a former X Division champion, I did enjoy wearing that championship, but I did enjoy representing that style of wrestling. RVD's in a I don't know if it's unique, but it's definitely a rare position where throughout my career, some people have always wanted to consider me like a junior heavyweight, even though I weigh 235, 240 pounds, and it's because of my moves. And the X Division used to be thought of as more of a junior division, but then I don't even know if that was ever true or if that was just an assumption, but then I know that there definitely have been some heavyweights, and I think it was more about the style than using the smaller guys. But there's always been a little confusion about that. And as far as my goals in my career, I've tried to stay away from the junior divisions, because Sabu trained me way back in the day in All Japan. I was wrestling for the junior title, and I was getting close to capturing it. And Sabu said, if you get the junior title, then they'll never look at you as a main eventer. And I'm not saying that's true now, but I'm saying that's the old school logic that was put into me back in the day that I still have. The thought of being a main event, a heavyweight, is a different thought than thinking about being the junior division that can do flips and stuff. So I got to wrap my head around exactly what the X Division is. I think that it's more of an extreme style, and that it doesn't matter how much you weigh. And if I'm right about that, then I might as well add that to the Impact Heavyweight Championship, and I might as well take them all. We all know that I look good having a couple of belts around my shoulders at the same time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, Rob. Well, we will wrap it up with that question. Tonight, United We Stand, 11 p.m., Rahway, New Jersey. RVD will give you the floor for a final thought.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. Got to start preparing myself that way. I'm in New York City, and got to do what I'm going to do in the day to get ready for my big debut. Got to go catch a tan so I can look good for all my fans, and got to make sure that my brand new outfit got shipped with no problems, so I can check that out and look good for everybody tonight, which no doubt I'm going to be looking good. Looking forward to it. Rahway, New Jersey. I'll be seeing you down there. I don't know when Sabu's coming in. We'll get together, and it's going to be awesome. By the way, my girlfriend Katie Forbes also will be there. So on a personal level, my girlfriend's there. My best friend Sabu's there. This is going to be different than just RVD on his own in Scotland taking a booking. You know what I mean? We got family there. We got things to fight for, and got to make my presence known. And there's only one way to do that, when there's a whole effing show. So that's what I'm looking forward to tonight. Thanks for the interview, guys.
Well, Rob, as long as you mentioned, I'm gonna grab you for one more question. You threw it out there, Katie Forbes in a 4-way tonight. Bring us up to speed on her, what we can expect to see out of her in the match tonight.
She's really excited about it, and looking forward to this match as well. So it's a big opportunity for her. You know, she's on her way up to places that I've already been, and you know, so she's got a lot riding on this match, and she's hopefully gonna stand out, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to see Katie around more than just tonight too. You know, she is beautiful, and the fans are gonna love seeing her, and she loves wrestling. So I think out of the other 3 girls, I think maybe she's only wrestled like Taya before, and that's only been like once. So it'll be like an experience of being in the ring with all new people for her too. So my best wishes are with her, and you know, I hope to see her really do good, because that would be awesome if we could be going to work together after tonight.
All righty, Rob. I'll see you in a couple hours in Rahway.
All right, cool, Russ. Appreciate it, and cool, Josh. See you guys in a while. Thanks.
All righty, media. Thank you very much for calling in. If anybody is coming to Rahway tonight, feel free to let me know. I look forward to meeting you, and we'll talk to everybody next week.
Unmuted. Q&A session is over. Goodbye.